Working at the Whispering Pines nursing home was never my idea of a fun summer job. While my friends were out enjoying beach parties and adventures, I was stuck in a gloomy, Victorian-era building. But as the weeks passed, I realized that this place held secrets darker than I could have ever imagined. The first thing I noticed was how quiet it was. The hallways were long, dimly lit, and eerily silent. Residents would peer out from their rooms, their eyes following me as I walked by, their faces etched with sadness and despair. It was as if this place sucked the life out of everyone who entered. One night during my usual rounds, I heard a faint, plaintive cry coming from one of the rooms at the end of the hall. I approached cautiously and pushed the door open. Inside, an elderly woman lay in her bed, her frail frame barely visible beneath the tangled mess of white hair that surrounded her. "Are you okay?" I asked softly, my heart racing. She turned her head slowly toward me, her eyes wide and terrified. "He's coming," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Who's coming?" I asked, my nerves on edge. But before she could respond, the lights flickered and went out, plunging the room into darkness. I fumbled for my flashlight and shone it around the room. The woman had vanished. There was no sign of her anywhere. I ran out into the hallway, my heart pounding. The other residents were still in their rooms, their eyes following me as I passed. But there was no sign of the elderly woman. It was as if she had never been there. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong at Whispering Pines. I decided to confide in my supervisor, a stern woman named Ms. Thompson. She listened to my story with a cold, skeptical expression. "Sometimes the residents here see things that aren't there," she said dismissively. "It's just their imagination playing tricks on them. Don't let it bother you." But I couldn't ignore the sinking feeling in my gut. There was something malevolent lurking in the shadows of Whispering Pines, and I was determined to uncover the truth. As the nights passed, the strange occurrences became more frequent. I would hear whispers in the darkness, faint voices calling my name when no one was there. Residents would tell me about the man in the shadows who visited them at night, a sinister figure with glowing red eyes. One night, I decided to investigate further. Armed with my flashlight, I ventured into the abandoned wing of the nursing home. The air grew colder as I made my way down the dark corridor, and the sound of my footsteps echoed eerily. At the end of the corridor, I discovered a door that had been boarded up and sealed with caution tape. My curiosity got the best of me, and I pried the boards loose. The door creaked open to reveal a room filled with dusty, forgotten medical equipment and ancient, tattered documents. As I scanned the room, my flashlight beam fell on an old photograph. It was a group picture of the nursing home staff from decades ago. But what sent shivers down my spine was the figure in the background, lurking in the shadows. It was the same sinister figure that the residents had described, with glowing red eyes and a malevolent grin. Before I could react, the door slammed shut behind me, and the room plunged into darkness. I fumbled for my flashlight, but it refused to turn on. Panic set in as I heard footsteps approaching from all sides. Whispers filled the air, growing louder and more menacing. "He's here." I spun around, trying to locate the source of the voice, but it seemed to come from all directions. The whispers grew louder, filling my ears with a cacophony of fear and despair. In that moment, I realized the horrifying truth. The malevolent spirit that haunted Whispering Pines was real, and it was closing in on me. I had stumbled upon its lair, and now it wanted me as its prey. With all the strength I could muster, I pushed against the door with all my might, and it finally gave way. I stumbled back into the hallway, gasping for breath. The whispers faded, and the lights flickered back on as if nothing had happened. I quit my job at Whispering Pines the next day, never looking back. I couldn't escape the feeling that the malevolent spirit still lingered there, waiting for its next victim. The memories of that night still haunt my dreams, a chilling reminder that some horrors are very real, lurking in the shadows, waiting to be discovered by those unlucky enough to cross their path.